Hey everybody, Aaron Cowan, Sage Dynamics, and let's talk about 13.7-inch pinned rifles. Talking about in this video will be the Sons of Liberty Gunworks rifles, 13.7-inch pinned. Why pinned? Well, if you're not familiar, if you haven't been paying attention, they're after braces again. When I say they, I mean the ATF and the current administration. If you're viewing this video in the future, hopefully that stuff has been squashed and everybody can go back to using pistol braces. Or we finally got them to admit that the NFA rules are a complete arbitrary bit of nonsense and it's been completely repealed. If you're in that future, if you're in that timeline, I am infinitely jealous from where I'm currently sitting. However, this is the world we live in. So if you're going to take an AR platform, that's what we're talking about in this video, the Sons of Liberty Gunworks 13.7s. If you don't want to go the NFA route, you end up with a 16-inch gun. Or, for a while there, 14.5 pinned guns were very popular. Sons of Liberty, based on the length of the muzzle device, and other muzzle devices will support it, but using the Knox or a similar muzzle device can take a 13.7-inch rifle, permanently attach that muzzle device, and bring you to the legal length 16 and change, so you don't have to worry about the pesky tax stamp nonsense that we have to go through if we want to have shorter guns. Some people are hesitant, and it's kind of weird, hesitant to go that route because they feel like shortening the rifle is going to cause problems, or it's going to reduce effectiveness or accuracy or range or any combination of things in that term. And other people, they don't want to have to permanently attach a muzzle device because they feel like it literally marries them to that muzzle device. And then if they find later in life that they want a different muzzle device, it's going to be very difficult barrel change, things like that. Or, you know, if you take it to a qualified gunsmith, he may be able to remove the muzzle device and permanently attach another one. Myriad of different things can come up. So some people are hesitant to go the 13.7-inch route. If you're not worried about length, then this video probably isn't for you. But if you are, let me tell you about Sons of Liberty Gunworks 13.7-inch rifles. My three Sons of Liberty Gunworks 13.7-inch rifles are all built on the M476 platform. They may have a different lower roll mark like a Scalper or an Angry Patriot or something like that, but they're all built with the same quality workmanship that goes into all of Sons of Liberty guns. Of course, for full disclosure, I am on Sons of Liberty Gunworks Pro Staff. If you're familiar, I also have a Sage Edition rifle through them. So I'm talking about 13.7s because my 13.7s all came from Sons of Liberty Gunworks, but of course there's other 13.7s and 14.5 pin guns out there. What I like about the 13.7 specifically for me, now I have an FFL and SOT, so it's not as annoying for me to just SBR a gun. I can do it pretty easily. The hardest part is usually getting the engraving done because I don't feel like investing in personally owning an engraver that I would use literally just to do engravement on lowers, because you have to have a certain type of engraver that goes to a certain depth in the metal, because the ATF has rules, whatever. So for me, the 13.7s are more about the ease of travel. Some states don't obviously allow pistol braces. If I'm going to teach a rifle class in a state like that, I can just grab a 13.7 and be on my way. My preferred rifle length in an SBR is right around 12.5 to 11.5. So in the grand scheme of things, when we're looking at the math, 13.7 isn't much longer than that. So I'm even starting to enjoy my 13.7-inch rifle more now than I may have in the past. My first one was this one. I got like this woodland multicam thing going on. They threw the logo on there in red. That's pretty cool. I've shot this gun quite a bit, and it fills multiple roles. I've got it set up, you know, with a magnified optic. I got a Vortex 1 to 10 on there, a Maul, so I can use it on night vision. I generally don't like putting magnified optics on night vision guns because passive aiming isn't really a thing. But with this one, you can passive aim through the offset 45 red dot there. And it's more of a general purpose gun in this respect, because during the day, I take full advantage of the fact that I have variable magnification. And at night, I got my laser, and if I have to passively aim through my night vision, I've got my my red dot up there. But using these rifles just for general practice and purpose, I can throw a suppressor on there. And it used to be, for rifles especially, K-size suppressors really didn't do it for me. I do have a little bit of hearing damage, but I was still noticing that they were super spicy in and around buildings, especially in buildings like shoot houses. So the K didn't extend the length of the rifle too much, but the sound attenuation historically wasn't great from those K-length cans. It's not necessarily the case anymore. There's a lot of really good shorter length 5.56, 223 suppressors or 30 caliber suppressors, if you want to do that, that don't add a great deal of length to the 13.7. So it's just as maneuverable within margin of inches as that 12.5 or that 11.5 would be. Now, I definitely don't want to go back out to 16 because it's 16 plus the muzzle device plus length of the suppressor, and suddenly I've got a Pennsylvania long rifle and I'm trying to work my way through a hallway, which is not great. Now, my grandfather, he cleared houses in France using a Garand. It's still doable. I used an M16A4 in the military and still managed to clear houses, but there's something to be said for bringing things in compact but still maintaining that lethality of the round based on muzzle velocity. And as we know, you can only go so short with the 223 5.56 before you lose that magic number, that magic feet per second. There's, of course, ammunitions that try to fill that void or kind of overcome that concept, and then there's people who say, well, getting shot with a bullet out of a 7.5, you wouldn't want it. No, I wouldn't, but I'd much rather the gun that I'm using to be able to speed that bullet up to the appropriate feet per second. So using a 13.7, you're not losing a lot of that velocity, and pairing it with like the A5 buffer system, the Voltor A5, which is what Suns does with their guns, you definitely get a soft gun. The barrel length, the gas system length, that helps, but the overall package, and then suppressed or unsuppressed, it is just they run like sewing machines, and just the recoil pulse is so, I don't want to say soft, but it is predictable, it is manageable, and it's more of a direct rearward pulse. I think the dwell time is appropriate. Everything just feels correct. The gun isn't really beating itself up, because usually the shorter you go, the harder that gun is on itself when it's cycling ammunition, depending on what you're shooting. So even shooting 55 or 77 grain, I'm still getting really good feet per second out of this gun. I can reach out to intermediate or even further distances realistically. One of my other 13.7s is the Veil Solutions rifle, and I've had that thing on steel at 600, no problem. Took it out to 800, played with it. 800 is a bit of a stretch, but still very doable, meaning I can hit steel plates with it. Further than that, just for the 5.56 223 cartridge can be a little bit unrealistic. But bringing it into 200, 150, 175, 50, the 13.7s just really perform, and they help us not have to go the NFA route. So what you're getting when you pick up a Sons of Liberty 13.7, and I highly recommend Sons of Liberty for your 13.7 choices, pending that muzzle device, you're getting the obviously 13.7 inch barrels, 1-7 twist. They use a 4150 chrome molybdenum, vanadium. I always pronounce that word wrong. Vanadium. Yeah, we'll just go with that. You know what I'm saying. 0.75 gas block with a mid-length gas system. The mid-length gas system performs really well on 37. Like I talked about, the recoil pulse. It's definitely noticeable versus going to a carbine length with a similar barrel length. Generally, once you get a barrel down below 14 inches, people start to play with the gas system length, to mess with to kind of fine-tune their dwell time and the overall performance of the gun. Then it's paired with the A5, the Voltor A5 buffer system, which comes with the A5 H2 buffer running the Sprinco green rifle length spring. And you just get a good, obviously the other features are going to, be particular to the particular version of the rifle that you get, but those are going to kind of be the mainstays, talking about the barrel, the gas system, the buffer system. Those are kind of what Sons of Liberty, some of the things Sons of Liberty is going for is their recipe for a reliable, hard-working gun. Of course, the last thing to talk about was one of the first things we brought up, which muzzle device to use. For people who are fine with a 16-inch gun, you may not even be running suppressed. If you are going to run suppressed on a 16-inch gun, you can go with a shorter can, and they generally perform, the sound attenuation is generally a little bit better than what you'd get from like a 13 or going shorter than that, and that's arguable as to the shooter's ear versus the environment and the meter that you're going to be on. Me personally, of course, it's just me. Once I find a muzzle device I like, I usually don't have a reason to change it. So permanently attaching one hasn't been a big deal for me. The Nox is on this particular gun, and just use dead air suppressors with it, and I'm good to go. But I could easily, pin another muzzle device that has a similar or greater length to still give us that legal 16 without having to go the NFA route. and just run it suppressed. So in the future, doing another rifle, I could throw a Surefire muzzle device on it and run a Surefire, like a RC2 Mini or something like that, or the amazing Huxworks cans, their new Flow 556K. I could easily see permanently attaching one of their muzzle devices. And for the times that I did shoot unsuppressed, I wouldn't be unhappy with the performance of those muzzle devices at all. I know muzzle devices are one of those things that we can really get in the weeds about, brakes versus comps versus flash hiders versus whatever, and which one performs the best and what does the best. I kind of feel like as long as you're not running like an A2, you're probably already doing pretty well. And even the A2 flash hider still performs okay for what it is, depending on the barrel length you're going with. I just highly recommend, if you're not willing to go the NFA route, and as we're seeing the attack on pistol braces, trying to turn everyone into a felon if they're not willing to register their previous pistol because the ATF just arbitrarily changed their mind about things based on political pressure based on the current administration. 13.7 is really the way to go. It's going to give you a shorter rifle. The only downside, and this, of course, is arguable or debatable, at least, hopefully debatable, not arguable, is marrying yourself to that one muzzle device. So you just pick a muzzle device you really like. And like I said, going forward, if you wanted to change that muzzle device, if it was pinned and welded properly, there's plenty of people out there that can safely remove that muzzle device and attach another one. Yes, it is more steps. You can't do it yourself, but at least it can be done. It is permanently attached, but there's an asterisk there. A little bit of welding, a little bit of grinding, a little bit of safe and careful fingers. Get that blind pin out of there. I've personally removed pinned and welded muzzle devices from some of my older rifles and reattached new ones without any issues, for the most part. Not something I'd recommend you doing if you don't have the proper tools and knowledge. I had the proper tools and a pretty decent idea of the proper knowledge. Going forward from those events, I'm definitely sending my guns to professionals in the future, but I was able to make it happen just with a layman's understanding of what I was doing at the time, because hey, sometimes you get the experience you need right after you needed it. So if you're looking for a way to keep it legal, and this is just the world we have to live in, the laws that we have to contend with until we're able to facilitate good change, 13.7 is definitely the way to go. And if you're going to go 13.7 pinned, grab yourself a Sons of Liberty Gunworks rifle, and you will not be disappointed. I'm Eric with Sage Dynamics. Train accordingly.